Greetings, my clay friends. I am throwing large Tankard forms right now. And I might do a few tulip forms too. We'll see. Or I might just save that for a different video. But figured I'd throw a few with you guys and explain what I'm doing while I'm at it. I've done it a few times before, but I've got a few new tools and, you know, I refine my technique every so often. So, alright, let's get to it. Okay, I start out with clay straight from the bag. I have cutting frames that I've made that I use to cut the cut the block of clay up into roughly equal sized pieces. For my large Tankard forms, I cut them 4 by 4, so I get 16 pieces out of a 25-pound block of clay. So these are roughly 1.5 pounds-ish. Okay. I'm using my Mark's strong arm centering tool, which I'm sorry, the tool is blocking your view of the clay. Shoot. Alright. Come on. I wish it didn't take off so much clay. I bet if I leave that there, it won't take anywhere near as much off the next time. Normally I'll use the centering finger that's part of the strong arm, but with smaller amounts of clay like this, it wants to take too much out and it throws it off kind of wonky. So instead, I'm going to just use my usual PVC ball opener to do my initial opening. Like so. And if I'll see if I can find the video that has the instructions for how to make that, and I'll link it in the description. And I'll put a description for the strong arm in there too, just because it's been such an amazing tool for me. Because with the weather changing as drastically as it has this spring, I get a lot of hand pain, and boy, that tool has made things so much easier. Because I have been finding my hand strength diminishing. Okay, so that was my first pull there, and now we'll do our second. You see, I'm just using my thumbnail to cut in at the bottom here. That gives me a bit to grab there. I suppose I should use my knuckle to do that cutting in at the bottom. I believe that's the way that people who actually take classes are taught. Alright, let's see how tall that is. Got my gauge stick, so we're nearly there. Let's do one more pull. And with this last pull, I'll do some shaping here. Slow this down a little. Alright. I'm a little bit grabby. A little bit of water on here. There we easy does it with the water. There we go. Check my height. And I'm even a little tall. However, how big am I with the rim? The rim could come out a little bit and it can get flattened some. So let's do that. That'll help take care of some of that extra height. And let's belly her out a little bit more here. Give her some pretty curves. Alright. Oh, she's a little bit heavy on the bottom, which is, you know, fine by plenty of people. Who doesn't like a nice bubble butt, right? Okay. And now, pressing in with my thumb and out with my index finger. Not really pushing out, I'm just kind of holding it out there. Okay. And then in with my index finger, out with my left hand fingers. And again, I'm not doing a whole lot of pressing, just a little bit of guiding there. And I'm using the web of my forefinger and middle finger to smooth that over. And now I can check my bottom, and I'm just using my little wooden knife here to cut that last little tidbit of clay that's flared out there. Soak the water out of the bottom. I'm using a natural sponge on a clippy stick. I got the clippy stick from Runyon Pottery Supply. I'm sure you can get them at just about any pottery supply house. Alright, there's that. Let's do a double check on the height. We're good on the height. Good on the rim width. Alright. Clean up the bottom here. She's a cute fat little thing. There we go. Oh, let's get this off of here. That's the other thing I'm not thrilled with the strong arm, is it does tend to push clay out to the edges. And I like to keep my bats nice and clean, but oh well. Alright. I mean, I don't keep them clean. Like, I know there was somebody asking on Clay Buddies earlier last week about how do you keep your clay colors from mixing, and I just haven't had any problem with it. I change my throwing water in between clays, and I kind of wipe off, you know, my wheel and you know, the strong arm, and you know, make sure that I scrape the bats after I've cut stuff off of them, so there's not a bunch. And you saw that I just used a wet sponge to wipe off most of the residue. That's really all I do to keep the colors separate. Alright. that awful chunking noise is the noise of the metal plate on the strong arm clonking against the holes that I've got here to give me a place to pry the bat out with. Okay. So, got that, and we've got our little indent, and fill that with water, and sink in our opening tool, and slowly pull her out here. And yes, I can indeed center with my own hands and open with my own hands. It's just faster this way, and I've got a bunch of stuff that I do actually have to get done fairly soon. So I use my efficiency tools. Because if it can be one thing, it should be efficient. And this is what this is a recentering maneuver. After I open it, I kind of grasp the clay and I'll, make sure that the bottom's running smooth. I'll make sure that the top rim is running smooth. And then I can do my first pull, which is like a semi-pull. It's a one-handed pull. And usually I'll use my hand right here to stabilize it, but I'll do it right here instead so that you can see what I'm doing. So I'm kind of pinching in with my thumb and my forefinger and just grabbing that ledge and pulling it up, and you see it wants to go out like that. If I was guiding it like I usually do with my hand right here, I would make sure that it didn't do that. Alright, there's that. Now I can do my second pull. Again, pressing in with my middle finger on the outside and out with my middle finger on the inside. While I slowly and gently, and making sure that I've got plenty of slip there. I don't want that clay grabbing at my fingers. If I feel it start to grab, I carefully let go, get my sponge full of water, and just give it a little squeeze right over the rim there. And that'll give me just enough. You don't need to flood it at all. And then because it's flaring out there, I just collar it in a bit here. And you do have to be a little careful with your collaring. Sometimes you can end up with like a fluted kind of effect. It does not work well with throwing if you collar in too fast. We're a little bit wobbly on this one. That's all right. I'll fix it soon. Part of it might be that I'm going a little too fast here. All right, where are we for height here? We're almost there. So I'll pull it up past where I actually need it, and then I'll cut off the rim so that it's not so wobbly. like we got a booger. Come here. Got it. And there's one on the inside too. Okay. Well, still not tall enough. My hands are a little short for these, so I sometimes have problems pulling up from the bottom once it gets to a certain height. Alright, now where are we? There we go. So I've got about quarter-ish inch that I can work with here at the top. Just gonna thin that out a little bit. Okay. And I'm just pressing that needle in from the side there. Not stabbing it in. You don't want to go in that way. You just want to go right up gentle at an angle. And smooth off that squared lip there. Make it nice and round. Okay. Check height. Height is good. Check rim. Alright. About where we need it. And then in with the thumb, out with the index finger, support with the left thumb. And then in with the index finger, out with the other fingers. And a smooth the finger webbing. Okay. Check the bottom. And that is a wonky shape. So we're gonna give her a little bit better shape here. Give her a little bit of bottom roundness. And a little bit more slender shoulders here. There we go. Now, why are you all out of whack now? Goofy thing. Oh well. I'll show you how you fix that in just a sec. Because that's looking really wobbly right now, isn't it? Oh, I see what the problem is. We've got a thin spot right there. Okay. All right, does it still have a wobble? A little bit. Okay, here's how you fix the wobble. Wow, it's not wobbling anymore. Nobody can tell. Let's do one more. Call it good. How's that sound? In the meantime, if you wouldn't mind, go ahead and give me a subscribe if you haven't. I'd really appreciate it. If this video has been enjoyable for you thus far, go ahead and hit the like button. It'd be great. If you're interested in seeing more of the things that I'm up to, I'm usually doing something every day. Give that notification bell a click and you'll get notifications for when I've uploaded something new. I I don't just do clay things. Got playlists for fiber arts, for recycling and upcycling of clothing and trash items, and I've got a few food things, hair stuff. Like I said, I'm always doing something. Okay. Here, let's give this one a hand center. Why not? Now, when I do my centering, I'm mostly using my fingertips of my right hand and this part of my left hand to pull, to push in, and then this part of my hand to push down. So, and then I'm using the same part of my right hand to kind of guide in on the other side. So, there we go. There's a hand center. And it doesn't seem like a whole lot of fuss, but when I'm doing it, several dozen times in a day, the fatigue can add up. And when you are a person with chronic fatigue, you gotta save your energy. You gotta conserve it. So that's what I'm doing mainly. It's conserving it. All right, so we're centered. We are half opened. Now we will complete the open down until the legs of my tool hit the bat. Ease off a little so that it doesn't vibrate too much. And slowly and evenly pull out. Alright. Get my hands wet. And now I'm going to do my recenter. Right there. Make sure that the bottom's going smoothly. It's doing alright. Top is fairly smooth. Also doing okay. It's a little bit of de-adhesion there. Okay. Squash that back in there. And I'll give it my first. Oh, here, let's slow her down a little. Give it my first. Pull. Alright, walls established. Collar in. Okay, now we're going to push in on the bottom to form the ridge to pull up. Grab that ridge and just slide it on up. What are we having happen here? Solve that with a little bit of water, I guess. Maybe. Okay, slide that ridge right up to the top. And ease off on your pressure at the top, because you don't want to accidentally cut in weird. Collar it in. Okay. And I can tell that's not big enough yet. So, push in at the bottom one more time. Give it a little shape as we come up here. some. Alright, let's see where we're at. Height is good. Width is satisfactory. Alright, let's put in our, let's slow this down some. A little bit of water on there. Put in our lip. The extra comfy Stellwork lip rest. Right? Yeah. And then give it a smooth. Okay. Now, trim my bottom here. Just to give it a nice angle there. Make sure that there's no extra clay all globbed up there at the bottom. And check our shape. Looks like I've got a chunky shoulder on her here. So let's take care of that. Okay. There we go. Much nicer. Okay. And there we are. All right, that's 3 mugs. I'm gonna keep going, but I figured I'd just share a little bit of time with you. So thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time in the from Stellwork Studio. Bye-bye, guys.